It's been wrong in the past, even at those levels, but I do think it's a sure thing this time.
And I finally had a sure thing.
The stock market was a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Not a sure thing.
Sure thing.
It wasn't a sure thing.
It's a sure thing.
Amen.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Not a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing. Sure thing.
Sure thing. Sure thing.
I don't think it's a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Not a sure thing. Sure thing.
Must be a sure thing, but I don't think it's a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Nature, everybody wants to rule the...
I've been waiting since I got here at 9:30.
Oh, well, I told you 10 I was aiming for, so I don't know why 9:30.
It's 10:45, man.
Yeah.
45 minutes. It's during my day. You didn't even ask
Man,
me to just sit there.
It's all during our day.
I want the login to the sure thing. I'm taking it off you. I want the whole thing. You're out. Why'd I have to wait 45 minutes? What are you doing?
I was getting set up.
Okay, fair enough. I'm so angry.
Why are you
I don't really
angry?
want to record anymore, man.
Why?
Well, it's just disrespectful, dude. Like, you don't just make someone wait 45 minutes without telling them what's going on.
I messaged you and said I'll be there. I'm coming. I'm on my way.
You said that at 10.
I said
on
that
way.
at 10. I'm on my way.
Yeah, but you messaged last night and I said, okay, 9:30. And then you said, okay, 10 will do. It's 10:45 now, man.
You said 9:30. I said, man, how late are you available? And I said, okay, I'm going to aim for 10 your time. I did aim for 10.
Yeah, well, it's fucked, dude.
All in the
It's just basically because it kills 2 hours of my day, man. I've got shit to do. I could have done a fucking app by now. I just want to get these fucking... I don't know, man. It's just annoying, dude. Like, if you sit long enough, any human gets cross. Do you understand why a human would get cross? Like, basically, I know you got cross because when you messaged at 10:40 and then I waited 5 minutes and I bet you that pissed you off.
No.
Just 5 would have pissed you.
No, I thought he's probably not joining just so he can be like, see, I made you wait. But it was, I was going through some stuff. I was looking at some notes.
Well, we're not going to be able to do the second app now because
we
I
are.
have got to leave.
Yeah, we
no,
are.
because I've got to fucking leave, dude.
Yeah, for 2 you said.
Yeah, but it's not enough time, man.
It is enough time.
It's not.
It absolutely is enough time.
Well, I just can't. I don't think I can record today, dude. I'm too annoyed.
You're too annoyed.
Yeah.
Why?
Just waiting. Like, I'm just not in the mood anymore. I just don't give a fuck. I just want the whole thing to end. I'm sick of the pod now. I'm like, fuck it. I'll just set up something else. Like, I don't know, man. It's just like, fuck that. It's too fucking hard. The logistics, man. It's just back and forth. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? Seriously, like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. What are we going to do? The logistics don't work, man.
Man, this whole setup.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I made you wait, but this whole setup is
it's all right. I know we've got
me being able to have a nap after this and then stay awake until Friday morning editing because I got to go to fucking Cairns.
I know, dude. I know. Listen, I shouldn't be. I don't know why. Look, human beings exist. They have feelings.
They do have feelings. Yeah.
The pod audience, you know, that's actually one of the saddest parts of the entertainment industry is that the consumer refuses, they want like say someone's on TV.
Yeah.
They never just see like Merrick and Rosso, him just angry or him in a normal mood. Like he has to, you know what I mean? It's quite funny. You watch always jovial.
Yeah,
you're like, you know she's not.
There's a level of artifice.
But that artifice, right? And I'm like, what I really want is the footage of her dressing down her ex-husband. Fuck you, Jeff. You know what I've done? I've entertained Australia. I'm a fucking superstar and you talk to me like that? And I'm like, wouldn't you love to see the arrogance that she has in her success? Like in her private school when she's sort of like dressing her husband down, talking about how she's been the breadwinner with her entertaining personality. What I'm saying is, it's so funny that you have to, that all personalities are just one-dimensional. Like, obviously, everyone's everything. So you can't see Carl Barron cut you off in traffic and say, go fuck yourself, I've had a bad day. He's always got to be talking about flies on sticks. And they're like, and that's what's so remedial about the human mind. Like, you have to, everyone's one facet, like Mr. Bean, and then fucking Chandler from Friends. He's always funny, isn't he? He's actually a jealous drug addict. Whatever, he's dead now, it's sad, whatever. I fucking hated that show.
Maybe we should be normalizing coming home angry and punching a hole in a wall.
Dude, you have to. Look, I feel bad for Chandler, but there's no getting around the fact Friends sucks as a show. I love it. Like, we miss it so much. What, fucking, what's that, How I Met Your Mother level jokes? Oh, I loved it, didn't I? The jostling of 5 people living in apartments that probably worth $25 million. I mean, what did he do? Phoebe played a guitar. They never showed Phoebe's house, so at least they were honest to that. But I'm like, there's no way. What's Joey doing? One of the nicest fucking apartments I've ever seen. Joey's in there. He's got a foosball table. I'm like, show Joey where he really would be, in a share house. The guy would live with the rats in the sewer. Chandler appears to be earning $500,000 a year. And he wears, he's pretty much just the rip-off of Joey from Full House. Same character. No one understood. They're like, what are the original characters? I'm like, yeah, Joey from Full House. That's the character. We know it. Am I wrong? Same fucking character.
I didn't watch a lot of Full House, man. That was one of those ones that was always on at like 5 p.m. You know, one of the 5 p.m. shows where before anything good came on and after cartoons.
Well, I think it used to be popular, but look, it's always sad. It's sad for Chandler, like, to pass away that young, but it's probably a relief.
Like, drowning in a jacuzzi, it takes effort to do that, man. Like, because they kept saying he's not, like, there were no drugs or whatever. I think maybe they conceded that they might have found some prescription medications, which is the only thing that makes sense, man. You cannot drown in a jacuzzi if you're not fucking off your face on something.
Well, look, unless if you have a heart attack, and then they basically say it's drowning, but then the autopsy's inaccurate because it should be a heart attack, right?
Yeah, they would say a cardiac thing. If
you have a cardiac arrest in a pool, they don't then say he drowned. Well, it's the same like people in Africa. He died of a cold. I'm like, no, he had AIDS. He had HIV.
Yeah.
The guy had AIDS, an AIDS dick. You don't say he died of a cold, which is what they do with a lot of their statistics. No one in Africa dies of AIDS. They die of the secondary infection caused by the weakened immune system. The thing is, it's annoying that we keep getting pulled into cancelable things with people dying and then us not having much empathy, but it must be a relief for the people that had to keep counselling him on and off fucking drugs. They would have got tired of his fucking cry for help every 3 weeks because he had lost meaning and purpose, because his one-dimensional TV character had expired. It's a hard moment when your life's work expires during your life. It's like fruit going off in the fridge. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like, yeah, you're George Costanza, and guess what? Seinfeld's not made anymore. You're like, yeah, you're sentenced to be a parody of a TV character forever, with people yelling out, going, the fruit store called, they're out of fruit, or whatever the fucking joke was. The dickhead store called, they're out of dickheads. Guess what though? It must have been a lonely life for him, because I don't think he had any meaningful connections. And when he came on the Friends reunion, he was shit-faced on drugs, but you could tell that he had expended the goodwill with the Friends cast, that he had Me Too'd all the females, and all the men were sick of going out, getting drunk, and him almost ending up in a fist fight as he tried to say, it's Chandler from Friends. You don't recognise me? You'll recognise a headbutt though, won't you? Fucking Chandler!
Maybe he should have just accepted that he enjoyed prescription pain pills more than he enjoyed not being on prescription pain pills. Like, what? Why does he have to be clean? For what purpose?
Do you know what was so funny? Is he's just a mechanism to read a teleprompt. So he ends up saying, I just want to get back to when I was in the zone, when I was Chandler, just being funny on set. I'm like, reading a comedian's jokes and getting the laughs for it. I'm like, you were basically a joke thief. You basically, a funnier man would give you the words to say to make Monica not want to slap you in the face. And then he goes, the drugs have wrecked it all. I've just got to get back to that zone where I just always had a witty comeback. I'm like, yeah, the witty comeback's coming from Judd Apatow. Judd Apatow wrote your jokes, mate.
But he was on the drugs during Friends. Like, he was drunk during Friends for most of it.
Oh, I know.
He was completely fucked. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why did he need to stop? It's not like he didn't have the means. He could have continued to be a junkie, using for forever, for so many years. Why go to rehab, man? Why not just enjoy it?
It's sort of like the reality TV star, because everyone's so like superstitious with success. They'll be like, oh, if we didn't have Fonzie from Happy Days, the show never would have happened. But I'm like, you can just replace the King of the Jungle with the King of Parramatta. Like, do you know what I mean? It was
The King of
in their head.
Parramatta.
They go, no, well, it's like.
No, I'm just checking that's what you were going to say, because it's very funny. Replacing the
No,
King
yeah,
of
yeah,
the
but
Jungle
you know-
with the King of Parramatta.
That's actually what I was going to say, but I
Yeah.
couldn't be bothered. But it's sort of like Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran. There would be someone that would fill. It's like when you dig in near the ocean and the water fills in. There'll always be a Barbie doll singing heartfelt songs about love, and there'll always be Ed Sheeran doing nice little sounded beats with the worst lyrics you've ever heard about going to Ireland and ordering a hamburger or whatever his fucking story is, breaking his leg on a grassy knoll. Do you know, we were listening to all his songs. I think we've done it before. Like, there's no Pink Floyd in there, right? Ed Sheeran's, most of his are like a diary entry. I was 16. We were playing on the lawn. I had a third impact fracture on my femur. I'll never forget being in the hospital. We had a beautiful jelly. And then a lot of the other things was meeting people. My Galway girl, my English bitch.
The Galway Go one's annoying because that's not his. He's just fucking ruined a nice song by someone else.
But dude, then he's got
that's
another
awful.
song. He's got My English Maiden, and she was there, and it's all stolen from Sting, where he's Sting was saying, "I'm a new English man in New York," but it's all these things. I don't like coffee. I like tea, my dear. I'm like, it's menu variances that. Oh, he's buttering his toast, putting Vegemite on it. Do you know what I mean? Where's this Aussie girl? I don't like normal toast. I like butter with a little bit of Vegemite. She went out, she got sunburned, and then we put ice on her. Do you know, it's like, if you actually deconstruct, look, no doubt they're bangers. But what I was saying to you is, someone's going to fill that void. It's New Kids on the Block, New Kids on the fucking thing, In Sync, whatever the fuck. What I'm saying to you is,
nature abhors a vacuum, man. You can't have a vacuum. If there's a vacuum anywhere,
you can't have the vacuum.
If there's a vacuum of power or a vacuum of popularity, someone will fill the spot.
But the execs are too scared to admit it, so they're like, we've got Matthew Perry, he's a fucking superstar. They could have cast everyone that auditioned. Probably would have worked.
To be fair, after Friends, like, he wasn't doing anything. Like, the execs.
Well, he did a couple of B-grade movies.
Yeah, but I mean, he got churned out, and that was it. Like, no one was going to bat for him. Like, it was done.
Would Seth, that fuckhead from Knocked Up, would he have been better as Chandler? Almost certainly.
What is it? You mean fucking Seth Green?
No. Or what's his name? Fat Boy.
Yeah,
Fat
I know.
Boy
I can't remember his fucking name. Why can't I remember his name? Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen, and what's his the other cast? The fat guy that improvs all the time. He's done shit with he did Money Train. He does fucking whatever.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah, Jonah Hill.
Dude, it would have been a very different show. Friends is a stoner comedy.
That would have actually been a better show, because the only way you could laugh at that is to be fucking high, that show. But you know what the thing is? They always say how good a riffer Jonah Hill was, and I'm like, well, he wasn't very fucking charming in those text messages, which was off script. Do you know?
Wait, well, I don't know, but what text messages?
Well, remember, he basically told his girlfriend to stay in line, stop putting up photos of her looking good. You're mine now. You're my possession. Get in your cage. I own you. And he goes, yes, you're getting branded tonight. You're going to get my movie, Judd Apatow, is going to brand you. You're part of the stable now. But what I'm saying is if he actually was funny, he would charm his way out of it. Chandler, if he had any element, put it this way, what I'm saying is if Matthew Perry was like Chandler in real life, it wouldn't have become so grimy around his drug thing. Everyone would have forgiven him and thought, it's Chandler. It's a big laugh. But it eventually, when he had the reunion, no one wanted to sit near him. And it's because no one was writing his words for him. There's plenty of examples of people that have acted appallingly and still been charming the pants off everyone. Where they go, you just can't not love him, hey? Yeah, he's stolen from a house and bought heroin. But fuck, he's fun. And he's witty. Do you know what I mean? What I'm saying to you is if he could have just had the goddamn, whoever wrote for him on Friends, just fucking keep working for him. That guy should have run his life, all his social media. I'm like, dude, you were an idiot. You maybe made 80 mil, more than enough to hire the 3 comedians that did all his jokes and just keep them writing. That's what George Costanza should still be emailing Larry David and going, hey, dude, I just really need a joke to build my brand back up. Have you got a premise that I can run off? I'm doing a Christmas tweet and I'd like to go like, the jerk store called. I need something. I'm fucking brainstorming, but it turned out the scripts just appeared in my in tray. And then I would memorize them.
Having a little earpiece and 3 people in it.
We always talked about the earpiece.
And an unmarked van, man. An unmarked van just down the street, helping you through dates, helping you through conversations with parole officers, just getting through life.
Oh, mate.
Then that'd be pretty nice as a parole officer, and you have Matthew Perry coming in after he's been out of rehab for the 4th time and he's been done for possession.
Dude.
He walks into the office and you're like, Matthew Perry, like, I'm gonna have to write you up. And he's like, can I be any more late? And you're like, you know what, man? You can skate, dude. You're good. I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
Dude.
I'm marking you as attended.
The best would be is if you both, Matthew Perry and the parole officer, had someone giving them the lines and it's the same person. And then they go, well, this is really no point. Because I'm doing Matthew's lines and also his parole officer's lines. So I'm like, why don't we just not talk? Because I'm now operating a lot of interactions in Hollywood from both sides. But look, is it sad or is it a relief? Who knows?
Man, what do you need to, because he was always complaining about being typecast.
Yeah.
But like, after 260 episodes of Friends, aren't you just done? Can't you just be done, man? Like, do you need, like, why can people never reach the top, and then bow out gracefully? That never happens.
I think it's that the taste of that, the perfume of success. They just can't stop breathing it in.
But what I mean is that there is there is a completion. Like there can be a finish line.
I know. If you're clever, it's like summiting Everest. You get up there, you walk past some of the dead people that didn't make it. You put a flag up there and you go, yeah, I did Madison Square Gardens. And then people say, okay, well, what are you scaling next? And you go, mountain climbing sucks. Fuck off. And then, that's what you want to do with stand-up. You pinnacle, you get enough money, and then you never joke again. And then they beg you to joke, and you're always serious and go, you can't joke when the world's suffering like this. And they go, come on, Mr. Bean, just one more episode of Mr. Bean. And you're like, no. And I just think the character pivot of exploring, once you've excelled, find another area to excel in. And a lot of people try to do it, like Woody Allen molesting, and then he does the jazz. Steve Martin does some trumpet. And they don't really, and I think it's good for your ego to be humbled. And I think that's why Steve Martin and them are so smart, because Russell Crowe does it. When you get people coming just to hang out with Gladiator, and then half the acts leaving at the halftime break because you're so bad, and the Screaming Jets or whatever his band's called, that's incredible for Russell's ego. Do you know what I mean? Because in any other scenario, it's meet and greet. Ha he's so funny. He just bashed the concierge's head in with the phone. Ha what a fun boy. But when he's playing music and he realizes that it was a one-shot deal, That he can't do a tax return, he can't read, he can't do maths, he can't play an instrument, he can't prepare a sandwich, he can't maintain a relationship, he cannot maintain a friend group, he can't stop thinking about himself, he's a narcissist. Do you know what I mean? It's very good to be stripped back and be realistic as a human. I think like Chandler should have just gone and been like a Deliveroo driver and just, you know what I mean? Been humbled.
Yeah, instead of trying to get another show on the air, trying to outdo yourself.
Yeah, and imagine if you admitted it and you say a lotto winner doesn't buy another lotto ticket.
Yeah.
They say, why don't you act anymore? And you go, if you win lotto, you don't use those money to buy more lotto tickets, okay? It was a one-shot deal. I got lucky. It's the same way that ice skating guy won the medal, whatever, Stephen Bradbury.
Yeah.
Bradbury. I'm realistic. This was a fluke. My career was a fluke.
No one's happy to just stamp something as done and move on.
Move on and find another skill set. And then what I loved is he grappled. It was such a nice decoy, the drugs and alcohol. He was like, but for the grace of God, if I hadn't had that fucking addiction, I would have been Brad Pitt. But I fucked myself.
But the addiction kept him through, man. I don't understand that bit because, like, it was when you're addicted to painkillers at the peak of your success, or whatever it is, you know, if you're an alcoholic or if you're beating women, just anything, you know, like Russell Brand doing his sex assaults and his sex crimes on interns, and you're at the top of your game, like. You got to keep doing it, man. You can't change the formula and expect the same results. You can't be Russell Brand and stop. You can't stop putting fingers in,
dude.
And expect to still be selling the ticket.
And what's he going to think? Like he's like, oh, I must remove all stimuli. I'm like, do you understand how dire your situation is? You're a parody of a caricature. Cartoon character now. Yeah. You don't exist in any real or meaningful format. You're just like a tagline from a shitty TV show. I'm like, you need massive amounts of drugs to make it through the rest of your life.
You need to up the dosage. You're no longer on Friends. What do you mean? It's not going to get easier, man. If there's no more TV show, you need to be increasing the drugs just to get through the day.
Are you insane? You think you can yoga your way through the fact that you're now Bart Simpson to everyone? Like, are you fucking insane? You have to be drugged at all points. As a psychiatrist, I'm like, first tip, do not be sober in the environment you've created because people are yelling out taglines to you in cars. You're not going to be treated as a real boy. You're basic Pinocchio. You're a fake wooden boy. People see you as a cartoon character. I'm like, there's no salvation for you anywhere in this planet because most people are slaves and you are now Bart Simpson. Don't eat a cow. Cowabunga. You're cowabunga, dickhead. You have to be drugged up. Get on heroin, get a nice penthouse that overlooks the Malibu beach and potentially, you know, hopefully you drown in a spa one day. Who knows?
Now, what about a Geppetto telling Pinocchio that he has to fuck him to be a real boy, and it's Geppettophile.
Do you know?
I'm a real boy. And Geppetto's like, no, yet you aren't. There's only one way.
Have you watched that?
Making little marionettes to have sex with.
That was actually amazing. You know the guy who made it, Pinocchio?
Geppetto in court being like, he's not a real boy. You can't put me away. He's a puppet. I can't go to prison for fucking a puppet.
Dude, it's actually like the loophole that we said that, you know, now that they got AI and they can make sex robots, Pinocchio was basically just a sex robot. He committed no crime. You're under arrest and you're like, no, that was the fantasy. One day he's going to be a real boy and it's basically just a wooden doll that's in a cupboard that he fucks at night. It's actually one of the sickest stories. It's a fucking sex toy. He's carved out a wooden hole in the back of that little boy's... It's fucking shocking. And it's put a vacuum bag in there.
You're Geppetto when you spend all of your time making these little marionette dolls so you can fuck
Dude.
them. And then one day you make one and like you turn it around and the marionette doll is like, I'm a real boy. And you're like, finally.
It's all framing, right? Because if you raided a man's house in Osborne Park and he had wooden dolls with little vacuum cleaners inserted where the mouth's meant to be and dust bags that he can ejaculate into, he's arrested. But if you put a little bit of Disney charm on it,
Some Disney magic.
and it's a paedophile that just keeps rubbing the wood, praying that it becomes real, and then sort of not praying that it does because he doesn't want to do jail, so he's sort of conflicted, going, well, it's not a crime, it's a crime, but if I make it enough of a fantasy, but you know that movie they made, the guy actually did, it was marionettes, it was stop motion film. He moved the doll into every position.
What movie?
The latest Pinocchio, it was made and it was all dolls. They moved them.
Oh yeah, they made a 2022 one. I don't think I saw anything about this.
Oh well, it was quite fun because they now know that the stories are boring, so it's got a darker twist where Pinocchio is forced to just perform forever for exploited. Do you know? And he's stolen from the dad, and then he's basically a freak show, and he's monetized, and it's quite a fun spin on it because people have realised like Disney doesn't satiate our generation. Back in the day, just Mickey Mouse dancing around to opera was enough to keep those withered brains of the boomers and up appeased. But we need more. We need exploitation, sex trafficking. We need like a drug ring. We need a lot more depth because we've been exposed to stuff. Mate, you know, we had Halloween and I dressed my son as, I got my son a 14 plus Pennywise mask with a butcher knife, but it was too scary. The younger boy was saying he was scared shitless, and I was quite scared of it. And we were driving, and he was waving a knife that looked quite realistic out the side of my car at people at the lights. I eventually had to take him back and return it. It was too realistic, but we did the classic going to a richer area to trick or
for
treat.
better candy.
And we had the best because I said, this is so nice of you. What a community you got. Yeah, all the houses. And she goes, yeah, we have street parties. It's a virile sense. She goes, what street are you from? And I say, anyway, let's not worry about what street I'm from. You load up that bag.
You're just back at Netherlands at your old house, just pacing back and forth in front of the letterbox.
She's trying to connect with me and she goes, do you have community? What street are you from? And I'm like, just load up the bag, old woman. We're from a long way away. It's a 3-hour train. It's a 3-hour train to get to this area.
Thornton, get the knife. This woman's not cooperating.
My kids are actually pinching, Daddy, is this place real? It's like Disneyland. They've got running water. What's that? I'm like, that's called a backyard, son. What's all that land? I'm like, that's what you get if you aren't a working class slave, my boy. It's something we'll never know. But we do get to drive in here, thanks to the law. We haven't broken any laws by taking candy from the front.
Knocking on someone's door saying trick or treat and then having to then screaming that you're a sovereign citizen. Like you're being accused.
What a sad childhood memory. They'll be like, remember when we went to that rich area?
Remember when Dad took us back to our old house? Remember when Dad took us back to the old house to meet the new people that lived there for Halloween?
Oh, mate, you know what we do? We escalate it, and then they find us next week with a lemonade stall on the council part of their house.
They're looking out the kitchen window, and they're like, "That's so weird. The lemonade stand seems to be pushed right up against our backyard, facing us."
Dude, and they'll be like, they'll go, move on, and I'll go, I think if you measure, you'll realise this is council land. We're more than allowed to be here. This could have been a footpath. I'm like, look, we shouldn't have crossed over and got water from the bore, but for the lemonade, but we are technically not in breach of any laws, good sir. Have a great day.
It's very funny to immediately, like, just when someone greets you to immediately start quoting city zoning laws. Like
City zoning?
you're so worried that someone's trying to remove you. They're like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, I'm legally within my rights to be on this part of the pavement.
You are actually on their property, but it's the best is turning to try selling them a lemonade and going, you look parched after all that. You look very unsettled. You know what? Do that. A nice, cool, homemade lemonade for $4.
Homemade at your home.
I don't have any change. And you're like, don't worry, we've got a reader. We've got a tagger. Dude, that's what I liked. I saw that chick. She fixed wolf whistling. Did you see this girl?
No.
They did the wolf whistle and she yelled back.
Dude, it's your whistle. The whistle named after you.
It was named after our way of picking up woman. It was that it's our tradition, and it took like wildflower, where you would just, you just denigrate a woman and just sort of turn her into a possession.
How did she fix it?
She yelled, "Sorry, I don't have any change."
Okay.
Which is just turned it into like he was asking for money, and I realized if you do have a good retort, sorry mate, don't have any change on me, it is quite a good comeback is to not even consider that it's sexual and just talk as if you're talking to a homeless man and goes, yeah, no pennies on me, sir. Do you know, like I've seen people do that where you do fake surveys to people that are dressed what they think's well and go, look, hey, we've got a few questions. Do you have some time? So when did you first become homeless? They're like, I'm not homeless. I live around here. Like, what the fuck? You're pissing me off, man. And you're going, look, there's no shame in your lifestyle, sir. It's just a way to infuriate people.
I told a homeless guy in Canada once that I did have change and just kept walking. He's like, do you have any change? I said, yes. And then he was very upset. Felt bad.
Well, we've got a homeless guy near our swamp because we don't have a lake, it's a swamp. And I think he's messed up and people think I saw it on the Perth Reddit. They go, there's a guy that keeps running behind trees, pulling down his pants. He's just about to shit, but then he gets distracted and then goes away. And then I'm like, yeah, that's meth. Where he thinks he needs a shit, but he keeps forgetting why he's behind the tree and then pulling his pants. And it's sort of like, those old things where do you remember back in the day you'd have like a Daki? It was a little doll that you'd put in the back windscreen and you could press an inflator and it would pull its pants down and up. Did you ever see these?
No.
They used to have this novelty toy that was very popular and it was a little man, and if you pressed the air container, it would pull its pants down and show its ass, and then you could pull it up. We had one in our car, but I was like, this homeless guy was accused of flashing.
He's just trying to take a shit.
That's just what happens when you combine ADHD with meth. Do you know, I think he just keeps forgetting that he needs a shit, and then he goes, I need more meth. And then he's running down from his car near the lake. I'll shit near the lake. And then he gets back to the car and goes, oh, I don't think I shat. Fuck, go back again. And he's just in an infinite loop. Like I'm sure Matthew Chandler was.
Yeah. In the jacuzzi.
It's a horrific thing, I think it must be, to find your boss dead in the spa.
As the assistant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you need distance, right? Because the standard story is that the assistants drugged them or the doctors given, like Michael Jackson's death, obviously the doctor for large money was writing illegal scripts for him. And then he sort of almost went to jail. And as a personal assistant, would you think your last act would be cleaning up all the movie scripts and things that he had been trying to send to Hollywood to try reignite his career? Do you think he would have gone to his desk drawer and go like, let's get rid of this shame, all these fucking return to sender, look, your name has been put on file, but we're not looking for anyone at the moment?
I think the thing would be to immediately exit the house and then be seen in some very public places to be forming an alibi. You don't want to be the last guy there, you don't want to wander.
I would have gone in and cleaned it up for him and shredded all the rejection notices for his applications for TV shows. Leave him, give him some dignity. Your name has been put on file. We'll be in touch in 3 months, Matthew. I'll be like, shred this. Let's make sure that it looks like he was focused on his yoga and that he had moved on. That it wasn't basically his 19 unfinished script what about if there were 12 friends living in an apartment? 80 friends. Why? You know what was funny? Why only have 5? Why don't have 47 friends? Everyone loves a friend group. Why would you limit it to 5? You should have 60 friends, and then people real generous going, I don't even know 20 people at that age. They got 60 friends, and they gather in a cafe and they fill it out. They sell out the cafe. There's 9 Phoebes. Imagine that. 9 Phoebes. You've got huge demographic. 47 friends. Friends, the reboot. And they're Joeys. There's 19 Joeys.
Just new multiples of friends.
Do you know what betrays it? They have to keep the numbers low because if you had 20 Joeys, you'd realize how annoying they actually are in your life. It's only funny because you're like, what a character, a one-off, an original, God's prototype. But if you actually had 47 Joeys and 50 Chandlers, all dressed like cartoon characters doing Cut It Out, I've been fired. So have I. I'm Joey. Let's go and get cheesecake. Oh, I'm addicted to donuts.
I think it becomes very difficult to relate to any character in a character comedy when there are so many of them. You can't remember names. You can't place who's
What
who.
about this? You've got 50 Joeys and you have the episode where Joey and Chandler get addicted to donuts. You just can't end up eating them. And they're loading up the vans and then you open their house and donuts pour out through the door. And we're like, we're addicted to donuts. And Phoebe's, I don't know what she's doing. She's addicted to donuts. Monica's off donuts because she's on a low-carb sugar diet like Rachel because they're worried about their appearance. What was it, Ross? Ross was the scumbag.
He was a paleontologist.
He was always the sociopath where girls go for the quiet, sensible type, but he's the biggest asshole C-bomb of the lot because he's selfish and self-centered jerk-off. The reason he's not talking is because he doesn't give a fuck about other people and how their day is. Everyone thinks he's shy, but he's actually just self-absorbed asshole that couldn't be bothered about trying to lift anyone's day because he's too focused on fucking fossils and digging up bones. Do you know, like, was he a nice guy? Would you want to live your whole life? Would you like to go on a family holiday with Ross? You and Ross and your 2 kids going fossil hunting?
Of all of the friends, like I think Jennifer Aniston obviously has like least typecast, most success outside of Friends.
And that's because she was already in a famous actor before. She was in Office Space. She had already done decent movies.
David Schwimmer was the same, I think.
Monica was all right. It was basically Joey and Chandler are the ones that hit the jackpot. They had no experience.
Yeah, well, I think because Courtney Cox also did like Scream, and then post Friends like Cougar Town.
What you actually want to do is if you really want an acting career, is you've got to do what Michael J. Fox did, which was he was on Family Ties, and then at night he filmed Back to the Future. So basically, you've got multiple contact points. You hit it big, and then you're like, people are like, dude, you seem really tired on set. And you're like, yeah, I'm filming fucking Jurassic Park at night. And they're like, you're an asshole. You can't moonlight like that. And you're like, why not? Make hay while the sun shines, baby. I'm a disc jockey. I'm doing nightclub openings. And they're like, dude, seriously, you're getting $40 million and you're telling me you weren't up all night. I'm like, yeah, nightclub opening. I'm the ring announcer in the UFC. And you're like, fucking prick. You know, imagine how annoying it would be where they go like, have you read your lines? And you go, which ones? Jurassic Park. I'm a ring announcer. I'm also doing a roller disco. I'm the DJ at a ice rink. I would love it if you had 2 jobs and they're going, seriously? You're on Entourage? We're paying you $40 million and you're still a Deliveroo driver? You're like, well, you got to stay grounded, baby. You never know when this crazy roller coaster is going to end. I've got a good relationship with my boss and I've got a fast set of wheels. There's no point in tossing that in. It's a great way to stay connected with the working class.
You're very confused, make hay while the sun shines, and you're just out there like collecting lime scooters or trolleys for the supermarket, bringing them back.
Dude, you got to stay humble. Imagine, Andy Kaufman did it. You want to do Madison Square Garden, and then people say you're going to party. You just sold out like 40,000. And you're like, nah, I've got a shift at Coles. I'm a trolley boy. You're like, you're still a trolley boy. And you're like, yeah, dude, I wear a wig. People spit on me. It's how I get at most of my material. One moment I'm signing hats. The next moment I'm going, sorry, mate, would you like a paper bag with that? I'm a checkout chick. I think it's fun to keep a normal job. Wouldn't you like? You see Matt Perry as a bin man. He's Chandler for Friends, and then you're like, I'm pretty sure our bin man is Ross from Friends.
David Schwimmer also did Band of Brothers, and then he did that season of Curb, which is pretty good as well.
Well, I say, I've just actually solved the ego of fame. Everyone, if I was the producer of a movie, I'd be telling Leonardo DiCaprio, you better, which one is it? KFC, McDonald's, or Hungry Jack's? You got to get a job. I want to fucking ground your ego, cunt. You must have a part-time job while you film my movie, so stop acting so fucking arrogant. Yeah, you're a glassy at Perth, one of Perth's toughest nightclubs. Shut up and go and unblock that toilet. Do you not think this is fun?
Yeah, man, it's fun. It's real good.
You don't think it's fun when your cleaner orders Hungry Jack's off you? Goes, this is a mind-blowing. Fucking hell, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise was baking my Eagle Boys pizza. Unbelievable. That rather than just make, that they have McDonald's Happy Day, where the celebrities are wearing weird gloves. They've got a nose clip on because of the smell of the peasants that work there, and they make a few burgers for show. Or, like on Telethon, when they're in the call center and they're holding the phone with a pair of tongs because it's been touched by one of the other women working there. And they're like, hello, how can I take your donation? Do you know, these people have to stay in the slums.
Man, Tom Cruise did that for Collateral. It was he spent time just rolling around as a delivery driver to prepare for the role.
Did he?
Yeah.
I think all the good actors go and live the life before they do the role.
And that's what? Collateral is 2004, so he's already fucking Tom Cruise, he's huge.
Dude, that's what you find in Australian dramas. Most of the actors is just like the sort of stereotyped imagine what that job is. Because every office setting is not actually how an office is, and you realize, art student never worked. And they're trying to play the role of lawyer based on having watched The Office with Ricky Gervais' Office, and they're like, this is what a government office is like. I'm like, it's nothing like that. You obviously haven't had a job. It's really embarrassing that you've got a cast of 100 people, 20 writers, and no one has ever actually been inside a government facility. I'm like, it's insane to me. Because so much of it's unrealistic. All the office scenarios they always feel like low-level jobs. It's always, you can always tell every writer creatively has never had a higher level job. It's always they were admin or the mailroom person. You can tell they've never been in a proper meeting. They've been in more like, hey guys, we've got to make sure we hand out all the envelopes quicker around the bank. Do you know what I mean? Like they never really have any insight into working in an office. It's always like this weird cardboard cutout version.
Mm.
Anyway, what I'm saying is rest in peace, Matt Perry. Ooh, Matt Perry sauce. You could do some sort of monetizing on that.
Matthew Perry. Okay.
Matthew Perry and going like when you're having a roast meal with friends, a barbecue with friends, there's nothing better than a Matthew Perry. Is that a good branding exercise? Do you think that would be depraved and disgusting for me to bring out Matthew Perry sauce for barbecues with friends?
If only he wasn't gone, you could have gotten in there and shown him how to pivot. He could have been saved, man. He wouldn't have been addicted anymore.
I guarantee you, go and put some fucking tomato sauce in that spa, dredge it around with your feet, and call it peri peri sauce for barbecues with friends, and you have different tastes, and you call it success and smelly cat. Smelly cat, dude. Imagine putting smelly cat on your sausages. Fucking killer.
Man, I think I think all the Underbelly, most of the Underbelly actors, they were working day jobs as well, surely.
Well, I think the main guy was a tradie. What's his name? He's a junkie. They're all junkies. That's the only way to come off the high.
Which main guy? From which bit? From what of the 8 fucking seasons?
Vince Galatio, whatever his name, Glutton, Vince Sorrentino.
Vince Sorrenti.
Yeah, he had multiple girls. He was convincing 2 girls to buy his shopping. They'd get like hair dye and like you saw her.
Wait,
she goes,
hold on. Vince Sorrenti is the comedian. Who are you talking about?
Is it?
From Fat Pizza.
Maybe that's the wrong guy.
Well, he's not on Underbelly, man.
Yeah, it's close enough.
The main guy from Underbelly is not Vince Sorrenti.
That's not right. Yeah, it's hard. I can't tell the difference between I can't tell the difference between Italians. It's very embarrassing. It's all Italians look the same to me, man. Is that racist?
Nah, man, it's Italian, dude.
Vince Colosimo.
Vince what?
Vince Colosimo. That's the lad.
Vince Colosimo.
Do you know what
man, even his his images on Google Images that come up, he looks like a hard cunt.
He was a tradie, and he actually had a woman kicking off this heavy set that said he owed him for shopping. She had bought him like 12 bananas, some grey hair dye.
For what? What do you mean?
A NutriBullet. Well, he would convince her. She said, he owes me over $5,000, and most of it was just like shopping, cat litter, hair dye. Do you know, like he had a woman that he would basically suck off to get perishable food like milk and some bread and some grey hair dye, and you'd have to like probably lay sleeping with her. And he had 2 girls, I think, 2 sort of honey traps where he had lured them in, and he would obviously keep playing Underbelly in the background, and they go, "Why are you wearing high vis? And why are your hands all cut up?" And you're like, "Yeah, because I dig trenches now." But he supposedly worked on site while he was on Underbelly, but I think it was because he had a big drug habit, and Underbelly wasn't enough. He needed multiple jobs to get the drugs he needed.
He did 2 episodes of Underbelly. Like, I don't think it would have been a big payday.
Colosimo was quite a famous actor in Australia.
He's got a pretty big filmography there.
If I was to sum it up, he's pretty much Australia's Matthew Perry.
Dude, he played Chappelle's lawyer in the Chappelle Corby film.
It shows how rotten the industry is even in Australia, because he's a known drug addict, ripping girls off, and they still hire him because they're like, well, who else are we going to hire? Well, we're going to get Andrew Wolf in. He's blacklisted. We're not getting Andrew Wolf in. We get Vince Colosimo. We're buying some fucking grey hair dye. He's fucking great on there. He remembers his lines because he's on meth. What better way to learn your lines than have a meth addiction? Do you know how obsessive you are on those words?
In 2023, he was forced to face court due to a failure to pay over 160 fines, totaling over $65,000. In October 2022, he was fined $2,500 for being caught drink driving and then lying to police about his identity.
Oh, mate. And they go...
Are you the guy from Underbelly? You're like, no.
No, and he was hoping that it was like me, that you couldn't tell the difference between Italians. And going, is that Vince Sorrenti? And you end up arresting Vince Sorrenti. Go, okay, well, we'll be getting back in touch, Vince Sorrenti.
It's pretty early in the piece when you're when you think you can still get out of the fine when you're lying about your identity.
How bad is to end up with $65,000 in parking fines? Like, that's when you think you've got a loophole. And you're like,
Yeah,
nah, dude.
Your friends are getting really worried, and you're like, no, don't worry. I got a court date in June, and I've got the perfect way to get out of it. It's all going to be fine.
Look, I've read on Reddit, Wilson is not actually entitled to get your rego number. Trust me, it's ironclad. I'm parking everywhere. I'm parking other people's cars and putting my plates on. It's ironclad. They aren't legally. If you send a cease and desist, it's all good. Trust me, mate. 65 grand. At that sort of fine rate, you should end up with the parking space. I think it's fair. If you pay the council $65,000,
Yeah.
I'm like, at that point, I own the fucking bay.
Yeah, put my name on it.
It's actually incorrigible.
65 grand, you could get a support worker to sign off on a disability parking permit, man. You should have a little blue tag swinging in your windscreen, parking wherever the fuck you want.
There must be some cap out. Because, you know what I mean? It's sort of like banks you can't do payday loans and then they just keep capitalizing and go, yeah, yours at Trinity dollars. And like, there's no such thing as a Trinity. Oh, Affinity, whatever. I don't know. Affinity. Do you know what I mean? Like just some made up thing. I don't think it's fair to fine someone $65,000. It's too much.
Yeah, there should be a cap, man. Like if you can't, if you were a salesman, it wouldn't hold up in court. They'd be like, no, you've taken advantage of this person. Like you've sold them solar panels twice in 1 year. Like you've come back to the same house.
Yeah.
This is no good. But if it's council fines, they're like, yep, pay it all, motherfucker.
I actually think 65's enough to get a golden ticket where you can just park anywhere in the city. Like, it's not fair to go like...
Dude, a gold-plated disability placard.
Dude, it's sort of like when you go out with a group of mates and you're doing rounds and then you come home and you realise you spent $1,700 and pints were $9 each and you realise, I think like some of the others weren't chipping in. I think I've been ripped off very badly here because we were in a bar, there were 40 people there. How have I spent $9,000? Do you know what I mean? Like I'm buying cigars. People are, every time you're dancing, they're dipping in, scanning their fucking, their Coles home shopping. People are buying massage. Someone's bought an Adventure World year membership for them and their kids. Do you know what I mean? Like none of it, all my drinking debts didn't add up. It was inconceivable to spend that much. Do you know? Like it's like, well, what did we do? Like, did we buy the upstairs apartment? Like what the fuck's going on? But I think, do you think people know that they're scumbags? Do you know, like when the rounds people? Because I think everyone knows it's an unspoken rule that you know which friends of yours are scum with money.
Yeah.
And you keep them as friends because they're funny. They're like Chandler. They addicted to donuts. It's hilarious. Did you hear Jeff's addicted to donuts? It's so funny. He just can't stop buying donuts. And you're like, you need anecdotes. You need people like Chandler's in there. Your mate that's addicted to donuts, even though he's ripping you off.
But you wonder whether or not they know.
I wonder if they
The
know.
ones that I've met in my life have always been, I feel like they've been kind of unaware, you know?
I think they're not aware, but everyone collectively around them know that they're a scumbag, but they're just a fun character.
There are people in my life who just don't, like nothing's ever their fault, you know? They can't take accountability.
Don't talk about me.
They've been wronged, man. They have been wronged. It all becomes very conspiratorial for them.
Dude, you're going to be shamed in this episode. Do you know why?
Why?
First, I dressed you down in the beginning, but also I've changed the setting of my video, and I just looked in and it looks like I've had a spray tan. The views are going to go through the roof. You look white.
I sent you the video that I color graded, and you were like, yeah, this is perfect. And it was the same settings that I always use.
No.
Because I looked back at the Instagram posts, and I looked at ones that you would put up where you hadn't color graded them, and you look terrifying, man.
I know.
You look like a fucking lighthouse keeper in a horror movie.
Didn't someone reach out and give me like urgent hair care treatment?
You on like 3 episodes ago, you spent like 7 minutes complaining about your fucking hair care products, and then you're like, they stop me every time I find a new shampoo. They stop making it. And then someone messaged and said, hey, Wolfie, I've got you. And you've twisted this because everyone's against you. And now you're like, someone's reached out with urgent hair care advice. I need to remedy this. No, man, they were trying to help you out because you were complaining about it.
Oh, mate. Do you know what actually the big news is? Eventually, I think I'm going to have to move out from my folks.
Whoa, hold on. So they got back from their holiday? What happened?
I just think it's, you know, what do they say about people stay at someone's house after 3 nights? It's like all fish, or there's some saying.
Fool me once, shame on me. But if I stay in your house for 3 years without paying any rent.
Who said anything? Like, I'm paying with anecdotes. I'm the guy, I'm addicted to donuts. I'm giving the Chandler experience.
It's interesting because it was not very long ago where you, in an almost realization-ary sort of tone, you were like, yeah, I think people stop thinking it's fun after it's been 3 years.
Oh, well, it was the mug off that I got from the mug off.
Yeah.
Where they mentioned me and going, yeah, Wolfie, yeah, it was sort of funny, but it's actually really sad now. And that's how they left it. There's the last reference to me on the pod. But do you know what the thing is? We were talking about it. Why aren't TV shows more honest?
Wait. No, hold on. What's happening with your parents? Why do you...
I'm so proud of myself.
Why?
Well, I managed to control my mood. Like, I was so livid. I had sent a lot of pretend texts. The pod's over. Fuck you. Shit. And then I wasn't going to answer. And now we're in here and we're having a whale of a time on the pod.
You didn't control your mood. I controlled your mood, man. I very deftly... turn the conversation, steer the conversation.
No, mate,
and made it a nice environment for you.
I am growing.
You're not growing, man.
The dinosaur's becoming aware.
I very purposefully manipulated your mood.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Because you were acting grumpy. And by the way, we were supposed to record yesterday and you fobbed me off.
Yeah, well, the Hard Yarn boys come in here whenever they goddamn please because they're paying 90% of the rent. So it's fair enough. Dude, but you know what I've tried to work out? I've realised...
What's happening? What's happening with your parents? Why do you think you have to move out?
No, because, look, things have escalated. I can't put it on the pod, but it's not a good situation.
What happened? What happened?
Oh, I'm not giving it. I'm not giving it. But anyway.
On, what happened? You've had a fight with them.
I was actually thinking about giving all the anecdotes, but then I thought, like, it's actually too much for the paying audience. But maybe in a Patreon app, if you sign up on the Patreon, you might get some insight.
Well, we'll do a Patreon one after this, and then you can talk about it.
You know what actually happened to me, though? I had a viewing booked because I had money. It turned out I always had money. I didn't after I made the miso blowout, but when I had 400 grand, that's actually enough to get a rental.
Yes, I know. Yeah, we've said this many times. Yeah,
but and then I've got a little bit of money now, but not as much as I want. But the rental, I had the perfect rental, but then just deleted. I don't know if they listened to my pod, but I just got a message going, your viewing's cancelled. I'm like, the pod's going to kill me. It was like I had a booking tomorrow. Do you know when someone just abruptly, like, you just get a message that goes, viewing cancelled. And you're like, what have they found out? What did they get?
Man, I was thinking about that, dude. I was thinking about getting an Uber driver, and then when it pops up and it says driver found, you're like, hey, just out the front. And then they're like, okay, on my way. You're like, is Pedro Spanish? And they say yes, and then you cancel the
Just
ride.
cancel. Remember we were doing that with the Uber Eats or when I was at your place and we're sending messages like, come inside and make yourself at home. Make yourself comfortable. We're on their way there and go, look, just in the shower, come in and make yourself comfortable. And like trying to really hard to make it into a social interaction, like a lonely heart. And just trying to freak the fuck out of them. Always fun until you look at your rating. When you look at your rating and you're doing weird sort of movie quotes where it's sort of obviously explicit, trying to get a bang from Pedro.
No one wanted to hang out, man. There were no takers, no fish taking the bait.
I don't know what the fuck, hey? Moving out's going to be a relief, but like, I have nothing now. No life. I'm Chandler without the Friends TV show.
Yeah.
I'm post Friends Chandler.
Do you have do you have furniture or anything if you have to move out?
Oh, mate, I do have furniture, but I've got to work out. That's what I was saying. Is whether the pod studio becomes my own house, which could be unbelievable because then I have no one else to blame when the cords are missing.
Yeah.
At the moment, I can blame Hard Yarns and go like the cords
You
missing.
can't blame Hard Yarns, man. Even like, people I've spoken to are like, it's crazy, man. He keeps like blaming other people, and you point out.
Oh, dude, I tell you what's gone crazy.
What I'm saying is no one's buying it.
Do you want a crazy stock? TG6. It's another lithium find.
Mm.
I was reticent to get into it because there's a cap raise coming, but it's up 50% today.
Shit, that's pretty good.
It could be like WC8, which was 8 cents to 80. I didn't ride any of it.
Okay,
And
well
now
let's do
Picks of the week.
So,
I was on TG Metals, and it's like a really good lithium play. And the geologist I know, but she messaged me and said, "Oh, good results there." I'm like, "Yeah, a day late for me though. Hey, I need this fucking early, man. You don't tell me after the announcement."
from 11 cents to 48 in the past 4 days.
Oh, dude, so frustrating because they did an investor presentation, which generally means a cap raise coming. So I've been watching it, and I was like, oh, I don't want to fucking buy and then have the fucking cap raise, which will be coming. And now while we've been doing the pod, I could have bought it 30 today and it's like 48. Very frustrating. Whack-a-mole.
It has been climbing.
Oh, dude, but the thing is, there's almost certainly a cap raise coming in, but why the fuck did 7 million go across the ledger today?
Yeah.
I think they're pumping it up for the cap raise, but now my investment theory is foiled because even if a cap raise hits now, it's going to be very cheap. It looks very good. Fuck!
Yeah, TPD and ASX have both been just taking a fucking bath for the whole month, almost the whole month, man.
Well, we're going to have to wait until they're uncoiled. They coil in together because there's some arbitrage opportunity to just short strike and then buy Talon. It's how they're getting the entry points. So nothing's going to happen until the new year. Happy New Year.
It's very frustrating.
Hazer's going all right, at least.
So why is TG6 so good? What have they found? They've had good results.
Oh, well, it was basically 11 mil market cap, 18 mil market cap. Now it's around 30. And it was like, I was on it. But they only got $3 million in cash, and they'd done an investor presentation, so there will be a cap raise in the next day or two. And I thought, we'll just wait for that and then enter. But yet again, very poor fucking logic by me. Just take the 40 fucking %.
What has their good news been that's had them flying high?
Oh, well, they drilled and found they found lithium.
Okay.
They're like 1-2%, 9 meters, decent shows, early days, and it's the first few holes and they hit, so it's probably quite a good region. I don't think it'll be anywhere near as good as Wildcat. Wildcat was basically a job for the boys. Do you know what I mean? Like it had been floating around and it just was given to a mate of a mate for a slam dunk. Do you know what I mean? Like dunking on a wheelchair boy. They knew it was good and it was like, load her up, boys. I don't know why the fuck it was left out between PLS and Fortescue, but for some reason, 1/3 of the tenement was handed to the boys cheaply.
When did you first bring up WC8?
I got in at 8 cents.
At 8 cents.
Got to 90.
So that was like, where the fuck are we?
I didn't actually have a lot. I had 200,000 units at 8 cents.
May, right?
Yeah, I found it in May, 8 cents. And then I refused to buy it at 15 cents because I didn't want to pay the premium. Oh. And then I saw it at 20 and I saw it drifting up. And instead I thought it was better to keep my money in that solid gas play. But I've also got a medical one that's got that one that DXB's going all right. It's just tinkering around. They've got their European license. It's some fucking drug. Look it up. Sick of giving detail on this pod. No one listens.
Is it Dimerix?
Yeah. Dimerix is good. That's got a $250 million royalty payments coming through, but that's a good stock.
Oh, dude, respiratory complications associated with COVID-19. It's just
Perfect.
it's another meso man doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's Meso Mark too, dude. I sure pick him. I pick him. But you know what's crazy, dude? Is these whack-a-moles. Like, if I hadn't been so infatuated with Talon and Strike, I could have made an 8-bag on WC8, which would have been a house in the suburb that my kids live for cash. If I'd put the 4 life in there. And then I've got TG6, which would have been, if I'd rolled across into that, well, then there's one of their more elite suburbs in Perth. If I just followed those two, they're all on the ledger. And people say, oh, he's crazy. But I'm like, it's not like I give a large number of stocks. It's only ever limited to about 4 or 5 plays. It's not like there's a string of other ones. The Gypsy.X and Whaling, Smithers. Do you know the names are only very few? There's only a select few that meet the grade that I like.
Yeah, a select few, but the ones that you focus on, you never diversify.
Why would I?
The ones that you really focus on are the ones that do the least for the longest.
But look, I've got Hazer, and that is going to come. That's going to 10x. So lick a bag, listeners.
You reckon 10x from where it is now, or where you bought it?
I reckon probably 8x from this price.
Okay,
that's all right. It's not. You know what the problem that's killed me? The contracts for difference. They won't let me go as hard as I realise. There's a sliding scale. Once you max it out, they start dropping the margin.
Yeah.
So I actually can't. The only ones that let me really go hard at the ball is Talon and Strike. I can't really rip it open with Hazer.
Why do you think Hazer is going to 8-bag?
It's thinly. Oh no, I was saying why I can't get the contract for different is it's thinly traded and highly speculative.
Sure,
but obviously we've spoken about it a lot. It's hydrogen play, new technology about to be proved, proof of product, going to happen next 2 months. Launch pad rolled out, going to be rolled out globally. The hottest new fucking ticket. Picked 2 years early. Lick a bag, lick a ball bag, as we always say on the pod. Lick it up, ladies. What's our saying? Lick it up, ladies.
But I'm saying, what point are they at? Like, why?
Well, they've got their heat reactor was delayed in delivery because they fucked it up in China and it was manufactured poorly. Who knew that the slaves would get it wrong? The child labour.
Yeah, the Uyghur people in the internment camps didn't do a very good job this time.
The child labour weren't good at making the heat reactor. Too hot. They kept burning their fingers, couldn't make it. So that failed. But now they've got it online, on site, so it should go live. I don't know if it'll go that much, but it can get to $2 pretty easy by January. That's all right. But you know what? Just fucking let me in. Why didn't I just buy fucking Wildcat? And then TG, can TG Metals just do its fucking cap raise? For fuck's sake, I would like to have bought it 30 cents yesterday, but I didn't want to get smashed with a 20-cent cap raise, so I stayed out of it. Don't like seeing 45% increase.
Why don't you just buy some yesterday? Why don't you just buy a little bit?
Because I don't want to. Because I don't want to get a cap raise on me. I don't like it. It pisses me off.
Yeah, but yes, that's what I'm saying, man. You buy some. Why not buy some, you know?
At the end of the day, I'm not looking to do this long term. I just need a house and some cash.
I know.
So it's not the end of the world.
But a little bit of dick on the field, you know? Get it wet.
Yeah, but I don't need to get all of them, right? I'm just going to stay true to my trade, which is just get this fucking gas play done, get a few $100,000 there, and then leverage into Hazer and get a 10x.
Dude,
it's a few mil.
Hazer is going to either moon before you have pulled any substantial
No, I've already got a
amount of money
shitload
out.
in there. I've got a lot in there. I'm already up quite a bit.
Okay, well then it'll be another one.
I started buying it like 45 cents.
Another one will take off, man. There'll be 3 more TG6s and WC8. You know, the trend I've noticed, man, is all letters, no good, right? 1 number, very good. 2 numbers, you lose everything.
Yeah, but guess what I've learned? At least I've learned, and this is how I can tell I'm growing as a trader, discipline. Because there was a period before I moved out of Netherlands, I would never chase because you just take it. You take it like if you're a coward, it doesn't matter that Wildcat goes 8x. You never chase a stock because you don't want to risk downside capital loss because managing capital is all that matters. Do not lose capital. And at least I've learned that. Couldn't give a fuck that Wildcat went from 8 to 80. You know why? Because I'm not buying it at 40 and losing 80% of my net worth that's taken me so long to grow back. Same with this piece of shit. I'll wait for the cap raise and I'll buy it when it's cheap. I'm not chasing stocks because you know why? I'm sick of giving ground to the fucking working populace. So I'll just be building my capital and enjoy your TG6, go to the moon. I don't care if it goes to $19. Couldn't give a fuck. You know why? Because I'm not giving a penny back to the casino ever again. So it's gone. I'll wait for the cap raise. If the cap raise doesn't come, have fun. I'll watch it go to $4. And you know what? I'll just fucking scratch my name into the side of my cell. But I'm never making a move because I don't chase pussy. Nah, that's not what you call it. But I don't chase prices.
What I'm saying from a license plate ticker perspective, if there's 1 number in the ticker, it's a good stock.
Oh, yeah.
If there are no numbers, if it's all letters, it doesn't move. It doesn't move at all. And if it has 2 numbers, you will lose everything. That's G8A.
You know what? Actually, you're right. That is how it breaks down. But what I've also realized watching the poker is this.
Why are you watching the poker? What do you mean, like World Series poker?
World Series poker is like, it's the same with comedy. This should be joyless, emotionless. The only goal is to buy a house for cash, right? So all these codes are irrelevant. I just need to make the transaction to make a few mil. Like, it's not a big deal. So I don't give a fuck about Wildcat or anything that's moved. I'll just honor my hands. And you know, when you've got like a straight flush, you do it's exactly like card counting. Just continue to do prescribed moves like an autistic dog. Do not give a fuck. Do not react. And even when you win, don't even be excited. Who cares? You got a house. Chandler had a house and he drowned himself in a spa. It doesn't matter. Nothing's going to fix your problems. This is just purely transactional about insulating yourself so that you can get further and further away from the populace. There's nothing joyous about having a penthouse. It just means that you don't have to talk. You can talk to less and less people. That's the goal. Just slowly, like backing away from a snake. We make Hayes a trade. We get our 10x. We back away from the snake. The snake's society, by the way. We back away, slowly back into a penthouse, draw the blinds.
The snake is inside you, dude. There's a snake inside you that you need to deal with.
Well, maybe it is. And we get to the point, we draw the blinds, turn on the air conditioning, get takeaway like Elvis and Howard, whatever his face that flew planes. What was his name? Howard. Ah, fuck. I've got to look things up all the time.
Howard? Who?
The reclusive billionaire. Howard. It's not Stern. Howard Hughes.
Oh, right.
They're both Howard Hughes and Elvis at the same thing. They retreated into air-conditioned, darkened holes and ate takeaway and didn't interact with anyone. And that is the full realization of a human being when you truly become profound and elevated thinker. You eventually just in a dark, air-conditioned room with blinds drawn, eating hamburgers and watching something on loop. That is the full realization of the human spirit. And that's what I want. So I'm like, there's no rush, right? It is frustrating to see something go up 50% while we're doing this fucking podcast when I should have been buying it. Instead, I was fucking waiting for you
to log on. And the point that where you were waiting, you could have purchased it and then you would be rich right now.
Oh, yeah, dude, look, this is what I've come to realize. I made my decision. There's a cap raising coming. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you'd already picked it.
And also, it's Pegamite, and it's a very it's expensive to mine. And the reason it's going up is because every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants they're trying to replicate the Wildcat trade because they didn't get it. So everyone's thinking, every taxi driver, I should have listened on Wildcat, but now TG6 is the one. You're right, 2 letters and a number is how you tell if it's a good trade.
Yeah, man. Dude, the next time there's 2 letters and a number, move your entire position over.
Wow, dude, it's unbelievable. It's up 50%. It's run through the depth. It could easily... but the thing is, it's being played by brokers, you can tell. They're pumping it up, preparing it for the cap raise. There's no way they're not raising 10 million.
Yeah.
But the thing that's annoying is it'll be raised at 30 cents now, which is the price I could have just bought. And I could have made quite a lot of money. But whatever, dude, we'll just I just pray to Jesus that the gas that we've got in the Perth Basin that is and you know what the funny is?
There's gonna be a fucking hole somewhere, man. There's a hole somewhere in the Atlantic, and all of the Perth Basin gas is just leaking out.
Oh.
It's gonna be nothing there by the end of it. I swear to fuck, man.
You know what infuriates me is the lithium boom, right? In WA. It couldn't be a hotter ticket. Lithium, the new iron ore. Everyone needs lithium. Every fucking battery. Everyone's going to be fucking the Jetsons with electronic cars. But all the mines need gas, right? And the gas is ours, Perth Basin. But no one's linked together the fact that Gina and every fat slob that's locking down all the lithium needs our gas. But no one does the next step, which is secure gas supply for all your mines. But we're just lithium to the moon. $1 billion trillion. $1 billion trillion. You need a water supply. You need gas. Don't worry about it. Fucking lithium to the moon. I'm like, can someone take the next step and at least let us go up 2%? Considering we are part of the jigsaw puzzle of this entire lithium industry. Yeah. Is anyone going to take the next step where you go, okay, we've got lots of burgers now. How about some chips? How about some fries? How about some fucking fries? Do you know what I mean? Like, there is the next step that if every turd and his sister's shilling lithium, that some of the auxiliary services might be required. But don't worry about it. Just let me sit in my parents' house in obscurity and never ever link the synapse. Don't bother. It's too fucking too hard. We fucking flatline into oblivion until one day, which is what will happen. It gets taken over for double, but I've sold because I needed a deposit for my new house my rental.
You've sold everything for $1,500 of bond.
Yeah, look, I'm very annoyed seeing this at 50 cents. Oh man.
Can we just mark this as the start of the new one, and can you tell me about your parents' place now?
No, man,
please?
I've got to cancel. I've got to go, dude. I can't record the second one because I actually have to pick my boy up from tennis.
What do you mean? You said you didn't here until 2.
Yeah, but they said it's pick up at 2. That's why I wasn't telling you. I can't do the second app.
You still have 2 hours.
Yeah, but I've got to go look at this trade now, dude. Not that I'm going to buy it. It's fucking done. 50 cents! Ah!